welcome to the deep dive. Today, our whole conversation revolves around a recent, highly revealing blog post by HRDQ. We're on a mission to unpack a massive corporate frustration for you, which is, when a company pays for an expensive all-day training workshop, they kind of expect it to work like saving a file on a hard drive.
Right, like you just hit save and you're done.
Exactly. You hit save,
Yeah.
and the knowledge is permanently there for you to access. But as this post points out, human memory just doesn't work like silicon. It is highly metabolic.
Mhm.
So if we don't treat it right, that expensive training just totally evaporates. I mean, it's basically like pouring water into a leaky bucket. No matter how high quality the water or the training facilitator is, without patching the holes through reinforcement, your investment just drains away.
It really does drain away. I mean, you expect this permanent return on a massive investment of time and materials, but, well, you're actually fighting against millions of years of human evolution. The brain is biologically wired to just ruthlessly drop information that it isn't actively using.
Which brings us to the forgetting curve. This is a concept by a German psychologist, Hermann Ebbinghaus, back in the late 1800s. And the stats in this HRDQ post are absolutely brutal. Without reinforcement, up to 70% of new information is lost within just 24 hours.
Yeah, and in a week, 90% is just gone.
Wait, 90%? That's almost everything.
Almost everything, yeah. Because the brain is a total energy hog, it constantly looks to conserve metabolic energy. So if you learn something new, you're forging a new neural pathway. Think of it like hacking a brand new trail through a really dense jungle with a machete.
Okay, I like that visual.
Right. So if you walk that path once during an all-day workshop and then you never walk it again, the jungle just overgrows the path in a matter of days. The brain literally prunes those connections away to save energy.
That makes perfect sense, actually. The brain is just doing biological housekeeping.
Mm-hmm.
So a massive 6-hour brain dump workshop is basically just hacking a really wide path once.
Yes, once, and then just totally abandoning it.
Wow. So because the brain drops info it isn't using, how do we force it to hold on?
Well, that's why there's this major shift toward microlearning and spaced repetition. To keep that jungle path clear, you have to walk it repeatedly over days and weeks. That signals to the brain, like, hey, this is important for my daily survival, or at least my job, so keep this pathway open. Spreading out those touch points is absolutely required to move information from short-term to long-term memory.
But walking the path means actually doing the work,
Yeah.
right? Because the post is very clear that just rereading your training notes or, rewatching a video, that doesn't actually work.
Oh, absolutely not. Rereading only creates a false feeling of recognition.
A false feeling.
Yeah, you see the text and you think, I remember this. But real learning requires active retrieval. You have to force your brain to pull that information straight from memory, from scratch, without any hints.
Wait, active retrieval, you mean like quizzes? Because I have to push back here.
Yeah.
If my boss hands me a pop quiz on a Tuesday afternoon about a workshop I took last week, I'm going to feel like I'm being evaluated. Like that feels like a micromanaged performance review, not training. Employees hate that.
And that is exactly why most employees hate them. It is a very real concern. The culture around self-testing really needs a total reframe in the workplace. Quizzes shouldn't be about, grading or judging the employee.
So what should they be about?
They have to be treated strictly as low-stakes practice. Every single time your brain struggles to dig for that answer, you are walking that jungle path. The struggle itself is actually what strengthens the neural connection.
Okay, so if the mental struggle is the point, how does a company build that active practice into a busy workday? I mean, without making everyone miserable or stopping actual production.
Well, by looking at the environment where this learning actually happens, and this brings us to the 70-20-10 model of workplace learning. It turns out only 10% of learning comes from that formal training session.
Which leaves 90% happening out in the wild.
Precisely. A full 70% comes from on-the-job trial and error. It's logging into the new software and just fumbling through it that same afternoon. And the remaining 20% is social learning.
That 20% social piece is fascinating to me because of the underlying psychology. Peer accountability is incredibly powerful compared to just solo willpower. We really need to focus heavily on that 20%, right?
Oh, definitely. An unscripted, casual check-in from a mentor stopping you in the hallway to ask, hey, how's that new process working for you? That does way more for memory retention than a slick e-learning module. It leverages social stakes and contextual cues. It forces that active retrieval right there in a real-world setting.
But I feel like it all still traces back to that initial 10%. Like, you can't reinforce a poorly built foundation. If the initial delivery is a mess, there's nothing for the brain to actually retrieve later.
That is a crucial point. Even with great follow-up, the formal training has to be solid. The blog actually references HRDQ's Classroom Training 101 for exactly this reason. It equips facilitators to run engaging sessions so the initial learning actually lands. Great delivery and great reinforcement just desperately need each other.
Yeah, you have to actually carve the path before you can maintain it. Such a great point. Well, something for you to ponder today as we wrap up. Think about your own career. What is a highly valuable skill you completely lost simply because your environment never forced you to actively retrieve it? Keep an eye on those jungle paths.